It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
All you need is shelter and perhaps a little cash. Oubliette. Did you never find your place in the shabby world, looking in every corner with a bucket full of dreams? Did you never book a trip to the rich and fertile fields, a martyr to your own, your very own safety? The beauty created, but you know, riding in this spot with no hammer that'll smash. All you need is shelter and perhaps a little cash. Did you forget?
The Jim and Terry Show, a solo podcast for the next few episodes. Jim is away in Mexico. I suspect he's doing some trade work with the Three Amigo conference. Maybe he missed that. That was a couple of weeks ago. Jim, you know Trudeau's not there, right? Okay, just checking. Have a great vacation. I hope you do sell some of your CDs down there. Maybe a little sidewalk stand with a little parasol and sunscreen slopped on your nose and under your eyes, and you can sell a few of your products on the side there. A little grifting. Maybe not part of the NAFTA 2.0 or the USMCA, maybe not an official delegation for trade, but maybe, I hope there's some economic benefit for you. If not, just enjoy the sun and your time away. All right, what do we have to talk about? Well, how about the opening song? A brand new, fresh off the press. In fact, it's not even on the press. It's not even off the press. It's still in the press. That means it's still being mixed and mastered, fiddling around with bits and pieces. But I wanted to talk about the process and what it informs me of as I look at politics, society, psychology, philosophy, ethics, morality, all of that stuff. What does this song have to do with anything? Well, let's take a look at the title. I would never have taken this title, never even dawned on me to investigate this, but then maybe that's because in Canada we don't have the rich history of castles. And this was a song penned by, at least the lyrics and vocals delivered by Keith Allen. Keith, a shout out to you in the UK. He's having trouble with his heating system in his home, so his upstairs spare bedroom / office is not really getting much heat these days. And he compares about having to wear his Michael Jackson cut-off finger gloves in order to do any work on his guitars. So I have a picture of him in my mind, not a real one, just an image of him with a toque on and a winter coat and these gloves with missing fingers so he can at least feel the strings as he plays. Oubliette. Oubliette. What is it? I would never have known this thing, except that Keith decided it entered his noggin, and that's what he's going to write about. Oubliette is is it a dungeon? Well, it's shaped sort of like a bottle, and you get dropped into this thing, this holding chamber, from a small lid that's closed once you're down in there, and often you're just tossed, you're not lowered gently. The goal is not to bring you out safely. The goal is to leave you there until you die. And oubliette is a place to forget, from the French oublier. And it was built in most castles in the Middle Ages. Until the 1700s, maybe past the French Revolution. To forget, designed to forget. Throw the person down, give them a little bit of light maybe, because they would put a grid over top a cast iron lid. But that's about it. If you died of starvation, that was the intention. If you died of your injuries being dropped in there and you broke a leg and it got infected in the dark, and who knows about rats and stuff. Were you given food? Not enough to survive. The intention was to forget about you and wipe your memory away. Oubliette. A fun song. Fun? Yes, because the intro and the outro are the bookends of the court. The music that might have regaled the king at his banqueting table, which was not often far away from the oubliette, hoping that the festivities might be overheard by the person in the oubliette, being tortured by the sounds of frivolity elsewhere in the castle, while being denied such privileges. Oubliette. So the bookends are the castle rhythms and sounds of dancing, perhaps, in the medieval style of dancing. And then it breaks into that edgy guitar and commanding vocal. But then you are juxtaposed or interspersed with these little vocal minimal sections, to which the words go to forget, to forget, oubliette. And they're little gems of brightness, like a little patch of sunlight that inadvertently got down through the grid and into the oubliette, letting the sufferer know that there was indeed a world out there that they would be best to forget, because they're never going to see it again. And I wonder, that's just celebrating the song and the construction of it, but I wonder if there's an application. The oubliettes were frequently built in. It's like a feature. I call my Hobbit Hole studio the cinder block 6x9 area. And now I'm going to start calling it my oubliette. It's a tiny space, and I can forget what's going elsewhere on in the house in this cinder block confines with a steel door, like a fire-resistant door. I wonder what it was used for, because the church, the local church, or Roman Catholic Church, owned the house, and I'm imagining it was used for other purposes. Maybe not a fruit cellar, which is what I intended to use it as before I took it over as a studio, but perhaps as a place of holding things of value for the church, the various paraphernalia that the church might need for services, for special days, and collection plates and offerings and brass crosses, etc. But you forget in places like this what's going on in the real world, and it's important to connect, to get outside of, well, I use the word silos, our silos of information, where you only go to the same websites, you only listen to the same radio, the TV programs. Even speaking of radio and TV, I am dating, because that's called legacy media and used with some derision by other commentators who find their information elsewhere, usually through social media, through cloistered groups. And that word, cloister, is another vestige of the past, best forgotten. Oubliette, a whole bunch of things to forget. There's a real world out there with real people and real suffering. And we'll talk about more of the things that are going on this week as we hit the next podcast. The Jim and Terry Show coming to you solo this week. This is the first one. I hope to do a few of these things and drop them in. 10 minutes of vitamins J and T is what I hope to accomplish. Short and sweet, just to send you on your way. Smile, wave at somebody, let them know you're real. You're not a construct of AI or in some other way some artificial vestige of the computer age. You are real. Smile.